Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you very much for tuning in. But yeah, it is the end of the year. It is my B-Day. It is the... It's the end of the year. And, like, I also feel like I should, first off, get Dad's Old Shop. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes and the end of the year. I am very much looking forward to the new year. And then Vicky the Rat, thank you for the happy birthday and happy new year. And Mr. Spock, thank you also for the happy birthday. And this birthday is about to get a little bit better because, well, glass is empty. We're gonna, first things first, we're filling that. And also there's reasons why that isn't lit yet, but more on that, more at that at 11. So we have ourselves. This is my Oktoberfest. This is my last bottle of Oktoberfest for the year. One of my birthday traditions for a little while has been enjoying the last of my Oktoberfest beer at the end of the year. So this is the last of my homebrew Oktoberfest. I also have some Oktoberfest from a craft brewery, and that's going to be happening later. But for now, also thank you, Captain Cocoa Puff. Thank you very much for the happy birthday, and welcome in. But yeah, here it is, the last of the Oktoberfest. Yes, best beer style. Far and away, best beer style is Oktoberfest. Oh my gosh, it just tastes so much like happiness. like nice little bit of malt, but also just a hair bit of the hoppiness. Like, it is, Oktoberfest is by far and away my favorite beer style. It is really good. Now, one of the things that people do on days like today is they talk about their goals for the next year. I do wish to kind of expand my beer style portfolio, and I do wish to make a Hefeweizen. I really do want to make a Hefeweizen at some point in this upcoming year. Hefeweizen, and probably, I think it would be really good to do two new beer styles in 2026 is my game plan. But we'll see how it goes. Now, it's a little bit chilly outside. It's around freezing right now, and I would very much like to warm things up a little bit. So, we're going to warm things up a little bit with a thing I bought this year. Woo! Okay, there we go. And just lower you down in here and press the trigger. Let's see here. Let's actually get that under there. There we go. Oh, that's America. Okay. Well, oh, that's a little bit too much excitement. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if that catches. But yes, Captain Cocoa Puffs, you're correct. Lawn Torch. This is a new addition to my gardening tool collection, since we're going to also talk about the 2025 gardening season. I've also wanted to use this I've wanted to use this so incredibly badly. Now, doesn't look like it's too terribly good for starting firewood. Let's see if we can get a slower burn on the torch. Because I have smaller pieces of firewood in the center. That should be reasonably good for getting a fire going. So, but yeah, this thing is very delightfully loud. And you know, hey, like I had to at least like try my hand at like getting this year ended on on a bang. Woo! Smoky. Very smoky. Okay. Can you please stop being smoky? And cut off. Oh wow. Okay, so I at least cut off like the acceleration of fuel. And it seems like it's doing really good. Were you originally going to get that rest for man? No. I don't understand what you mean. All I understand is, well, one last... You're gonna torch dead dry crops? Be sorry, I meant the flamethrower. Yeah. I want to get a flamethrower robot. Wait. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So this is actually meant for torching weeds. I actually have a really bad problem with a weed called crabgrass, and because of that weed called crabgrass, I just have a wretchedly bad time with dealing with weeds, especially as we go into like late summer. So this is a tool I have acquired for taking care of the weeds in my garden, mostly the crabgrass, because depending on how I do the planting, I'll have like a fair amount of space, and I can just take this and just burn in between my rows, and then I can kind of my game plan is to hand weed around everything else. Yeah. Some people call it crabgrass. It's also sometimes called Bermuda grass, but it is terrible stuff. And once you have it, you've got it. You just gotta deal. You just gotta live with it. And this is a tool I purchased this year. You can program the AI robot thing to only eat the crabgrass. Here's the thing. That's actually a really good use of AI. Like using AI to make art, bad. Using AI to hunt crabgrass, good. Now, shucks, gosh, how long ago was this an idea in my brain? I want to say this was like... Bermuda and crabgrass are two different species. Ah! From what I understand, they're similar, but while being genuinely good at identifying plants, my official statement on various my opinion on grass is that grasses are a pain in the grass to identify, and so I don't have a great deal of distinction when it comes to various grasses. But that's just me. Greetings again, new viewer to your channel. Wishing you a happy birthday, happy new year. Thank you, the historian captain 7507. Thank you very much for the happy. Crabgrass is a bit lighter than Bermuda. Ooh, good to know. Good to know. That is really good to know. But yeah, I think it grows up quite a bit faster as well. Okay, then I probably deal with crabgrass because holy. Granted, honestly, like if you want to just like curse a gardener, especially here in the eastern U.S., you just wish for them to have well, a rhizomzonal grass. Deploy the rabbits to gone at it. Good idea, Vicky the rat. Yeah, grasses are grasses, unless they're like, yeah, that fire is Yeah, the fire is the fire is doing it's being very fiery right now. And admittedly, this is too much fire for cooking, but that's fine because I do want it to cook down, which I have some step preps for today, so got that going. But yeah, like there's a lot of trees are very easy to identify because trees, you always have bark, you always have the form of the tree, and then for the better part of the year, for most trees, you have leaves, and then occasionally you'll have flowers and even seeds. Trees are pretty easy. Shrubs are similar, because interestingly enough, this is a weird thing I've noticed even living in the relatively bile-rich region I live in. There's a lot more tree species than there are shrub species, so that helps make shrubs a little bit easier to identify. But grasses, though, they have the root structure, they have a pseudo-stem leaf, a combination of leaf and stem structure to them. And then you have maybe the seed heads, if you're lucky that the grass is actually like producing fruit at that point in time. Also, another benefit of this, speaking of grass fruit, is if the grass is in seed, this kills the seed. So not only does this kill the plant, this also kills the seed. Whereas if I'm ripping the grass out by hand, which has been the traditional method at my homestead, this also helps kill seed, this is one of my big hopes going into next year. I have a lot of my hopes pinned on that tool. Can you identify different cannabis varieties? I am not that close into the weed. Pod. I am not that far into the weeds on that. I'm sure it's quite possible for someone to get to that point. I do not know that much about cannabis. Because... So, the closest experience I have to IDing cannabis is I grow 2 varieties of hops at my homestead. Hops are also in the wider cannabis family. I grow Comet and I grow Centennial. And I can actually tell the difference between those pretty easily because the Centennial has a much darker leaf to it than the Comet. The Comet has a much lighter colored leaf to it. Makes distinguishing those. Granted, I'm only choosing one option between 2. As far as like just having a piece of hop sent to me and being like, "Hey, Sugi, what is this?" Ooh, nice pop. That's a lot more challenging for me. I also haven't like went through a bunch of hop fields. There's actually a local brewery near me that has a farm project. Can you smoke it? The answer is yes, in the sense that you can eat everything once. Like, technically I can smoke this wood, but it won't have THC. Yeah. Captain Cocoa Puff's right. You can smoke anything if you're brave enough. Yep. That's basically how it goes. Like, well, I figured you were joking. I mean, I know you're very green focused as an individual, which is fine. That's fine. Me personally, I'm a very much a beer focused individual. At least as far as vices is concerned. Okay. So, I don't know. Is there any more thoughts to be had along this thought process? Because I don't know. Like, oh gosh, we're nearly 20 minutes in, and we haven't even begun to make beer cheese. I should fix that. So, There's going to be the pot. Hello, pot. Oh, I like beer. That's why we're friends. That's why we hang out. We like beer. And even better, we're going to combine that beer with cheese to make what is traditional, the most traditional sauce to my location on the rotation. And that traditional sauce is called beer cheese. Basically, it's a liquid cheese sauce that you add some beer to. So it's really nothing all that fancy. Cheese is good. Yeah, we're pro beer and we're pro cheese around here. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of. Wait a second. Did I foobar myself? I foobarred myself. That I did. Okay. Ah, yes. If it's a sauce, what do you eat it with? Bratwurst? No. So, you can eat it with a fair amount of things. My traditional go-to is these little guys. Mini pretzels. Mini pretzels twist. This is my... If I were to buy beer cheese at the store, this is the main thing I eat it with. Is these guys. But this isn't the only guy. There's actually quite a few, which... Because you can... it's a sauce. You can eat it with anything. We're going to eat it with pretzels. I also have some carrots. So just the carrots to get a little bit of, like, fiber in today. And then... Eventually... We don't have the coals for it. And that's tater bites. Well, it's called tater bites, but these are, as far as I'm concerned, these are tater tots. Salted pretzels with liquid cheese is goated. Yes. Yes. Yes, Vicky. You got it. You understand it. Tater tots for the fucking win. Yes. Yes. Tater tots are love. Tater tots are justice. Now, I do realize I have slightly foobarred myself a little bit here today, and that is I was meaning to have a cheese grater. So, because I had the knife and the cutting board, because I had to cut open some stuff, and these are utensils I grab pretty much nearly at any, like, campfire cooking stream I do, so I just kind of grabbed them out of habit. So it's like so on one hand, I have unfortunately forgotten to grab the stuff that actually matters, and that's the cheese grater. So I think, because we're going to be taking cheese and we're going to be melting it down in the pan, I'm pretty confident in my ability to just slice up the cheese I have thinly, and then take that thin cheese and then just melt the thin slices of cheese. I think that's the way. I think that's going to be the way to go. Yeah, let's take care of that top. There we go. Cheddar, sharp cheddar. Granted, because I'm actually going to be using 2 cheeses for tonight's dish. Sharp cheddar is going to be the mainstay. The second stay is going to be Swiss. So, a little bit of a perspective on generally how the birthday streams have. Well, this is only my second birthday stream, but generally speaking, what I do is I basically do my favorite recipe from the past year. 420 alert. Okay, Mr. Spock, you enjoy your 420 goodness. I'm going to sample myself a little bit of cheese. I like cheese. Oh shit, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Oh, thank you, man. Don't worry about it. That's the thing that happens when your birthday is on, like, a holiday. Like, it kind of just gets drowned out in all the other stuff that happens, which, admittedly, the real bad thing about my birthday being today is if people get me Christmas gifts, it's very easy for what is a Christmas gift to also turn into a birthday gift. Which is kind of a thing that happens a lot in my life. Which my niece, for instance, she actually has a birthday that falls roughly in this time of year. And because of that, I always make sure to get her 2 gifts every year. 2 distinct gifts. Granted, I do give her a nice gift, which I give her on her birthday, and then I just kind of just get her a second gift that I think she will like. How old are you, Sugi? I am... So, the meme way I'm describing my age is if I stretch out my legs, my knees will pop. But yeah, I'm 36 years old. I am a 36-year-old American from Kentucky, which I will say, if you hear gunshots, this is honestly perfectly normal for my area. Oh gosh, that smoke is like fellow Oji-san. Ito Oni, yes, cheese, and also yes, I'm an Oji-san, which is fun. It's fun to be old. You have the same boat as me. Yeah, I'm. Granted, so one of my jokes about myself is my birthday. My birthday is today. I'm 36. My birth year, like normal for normal nights or normal for New Year's Eve. Mr. Crush, honestly, both. It's both for my area. Like, the gun noises become more prevalent on like celebration nights, but also like it occasionally just normally happens. I love being old now. I have the right to feel superior to younger generations about things. Yeah. Honestly, so my favorite thing about being older is when you get older, you gain more age. You gain more experience, but you also get more agency over your life and who you are as a person in life with age, because you have more resources, more different stuff, lots of different things. Like, I love old memes. I use old memes the most often. Kentucky, like Project Zomboid, also real. Yeah. Funny enough, the main park I would do volunteer work in, if it rained yesterday, to the perspective of when I was volunteering, like the day I was actually volunteering, you will hear booms in the distance, like loud booms. Yeah, that's Fort Knox doing artillery practice. Because Fort Knox likes to do artillery practice on days after it's rained, so that way they don't set their woods on fire. So I've just been like surrounded by like cornucopious amounts of like just gun noises all my life. So it's just like, I'm sure some people are just like, oh no, a gun went off. And me, I'm like, well, that's normal. And then everyone looks at me and goes, Sugi, that's not supposed to be normal. But, and I just go, it is though. It's just a normal state of things where I'm from. I thought Fort Knox was just a pretend Kentucky place in Zomboid. No, Kentucky. So Fort Knox is technically the main gold reserve for the entirety of the U.S. government for two main reasons. primary reason number one is Fort Knox is located in between both the Appalachian and the Rocky Mountains and pretty much in the center of the U.S. So it's very much inside U.S. territory. So you have to go through a lot of U.S. territory to get to the thing. And then second, two, there was an Army armor division based out of Fort Knox. That armor division actually has moved to Georgia, and I think that was maybe 10 years ago. But the actual Fort Knox building is a real building that actually exists, and Fort Knox is actually a real military base that exists. I've actually been on the Fort Knox military base as a young lad. When I was a young lad, I was in what was called the Boy Scouts. And in the Boy Scouts, we do lots of different things, and some things we do are also very military adjacent, because the Boy Scouts is technically a labor pipeline into the U.S. military. And the U.S. military likes to look good in the eyes of the Scouts. And there's an event that happens once every 4 years where the Scouts go camping at Fort Knox, and I actually participated in that event, which also coincidentally was a very cold year to go tent camping. Very unpleasant time. But yeah, I went to Fort Knox. I went to the actual base. I camped on the base. It was miserable camping. And then the next day, I got to wake up, eat breakfast, and then we got to see tanks do donuts in the field. So I got to see Abram tanks do donuts. So that was kind of the highlight of that trip. And then I also got to go into some of those tanks too, because they actually eventually parked a whole bunch of military vehicles, because they had this demonstration ground where they had the tanks doing donuts and maneuvers and all those fun things. And then tanking acrobatics, yeah. It was actually a pretty fun thing to get, especially to get youngsters excited about the military, which as an adult I know why they were doing those things. Thinly veiled attempts to get people to sign up for the military, but as a young American who did not sign up for the military, I got to get a good time out of it. Woo. Also, Fort Knox has just been Fort Knox is just a meme thing in culture, because Fort Knox is the place where the government keeps its gold. Okay, so my fire's starting to burn down a little bit. I need to move you out of my way. I need to access the handy dandy magic fire poker, because we need to do some manipulating. Oh yeah, there we go. Ooh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, wood activated. So we'll spread one piece of rebar out. Grab that piece of rebar. Actually, wait a second. Another piece of rebar is not going to spread. Can I hook you? Yes, hook. Is gold even there, even after we moved off the gold standard? So the thing is, per the U.S. government, the gold's still there. Officially, the gold's still there, but a lot of people don't think the gold's there. Honestly, personally, I think the gold can be anywhere. And it doesn't really necessarily matter a whole lot where. Moving away from the gold standard was a mistake. Honestly, it was not. It was not. And there's actually really good the gold standard, moving away from the gold standard was inevitable, in my opinion, from a monetary policy standpoint, because the issue with the gold standard is when you move away from the gold standard, you completely lose the ability to print money. Now, printing money is the ultimate playing with fire financially. It comes with great power, but it also comes with great responsibility. That gold was given to another country 100%. Maybe. I really don't know. I mean, considering if the US still held that gold nowadays, holy smokes, that is such a card the US has, because gold's just been like way up this year because economic instability, yo. Cornucopious amounts of economic instability, yo. Yes, you. I need you. And magic bag. Probably hasn't been in there for past 50 years. If I had to guess, if it was missing, silver, all responsibility in the government's been happily printing a lot lately. Yes, just because it is a responsibility doesn't mean they're being good about it. But that just applies to any government at any point in time. Like, just because something is the right thing to do doesn't necessarily mean they do so. And unfortunately, now I'm generally very pro democracy, and I think democracy is generally a better system than other systems. The issue with democracy is politicians are more motivated by their elections cycles versus like long-term actual like doing good. And that's just... Wait, what? Oh, no, that was... So, actually, the whole money printing thing Germany did, that was actually Germany post-World War I. Because the Allies saddled Germany with a whole lot of debt. Because basically, the Allies blamed Germany for World War I. And... which was very, very unfair to them. Because what Germany was in World War I was the biggest player on the side that was not the Allies. Like, we all know that World War I started because of some dumb thing that happened in the Balkans. Because the damn Balkan Peninsula is just a European hotbed for dumb stuff happening. Constantly. And Germany got blamed for it. Germany had to pay up for it. Silver shooting up, RAM shooting up, GPU shooting up. Yeah, it's a lot of not good. Well, admittedly, I can at least play the part of... I've already built the streaming computer, so I don't need to worry about those things. Granted, I also did build a... Is that... Because I need 3 tablespoons of butter. I need 3 tablespoons of butter. Do I have... Wait, is it 3 tablespoons? It looks roughly 3 tablespoons. I'm going to be actually a little bit generous on my milk. So I'm going to call that good. To quote one wise guy I saw on the internet, democracy basically means government by the people, for the people, of the people, for the people, but the people reacted. Yeah, Germany was really excited. The problem is with World War I is World War I also left unanswered questions. Also, one of the fun things about World War I is Japan was on our side. Japan was an ally side because they also like picking fights with Russia. Japan and Russia do not get along, and you don't even have to watch like Golden Kamuy to know of how much they dislike each other. They just dislike each other. Which is fair. The unfortunate part is that there's a lot of native people near the Russo-Japanese border that get caught up in dumb stuff that they just don't want to get caught up into. They just want to like live their lives like the Ainu people. Okay. So since I have a bucket of cheese, essentially what I have here, I'm gonna get my Swiss cheese out. It's Swiss. You kind of see it. So I'm gonna get this out. Rip it open using the magic opening device. Because I'm basically at an impasse until that butter melts. Now, granted, I could probably melt that butter in my main pan, but I really like to... Woo! Nice pop. I like to keep things separate for a little while. So, I need 4 ounces of this stuff, so I'm just going to kind of like size this up and be like, okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish slices of cheese. You have the illusion of democracy. Stop. Dad's old shop. Not Dad's old shop. Mr. Spock, don't be real, man. Don't be real like that. Don't make me think about things that make me uncomfortable. I mean, you're... Unfortunately, like, the political system has just always kind of been a little messed up. But, honestly... Actually, wait, yeah. I have 10 slices, so... I have 10 slices of cheese, so I'm going to throw 5 at my beer cheese. So that's Swiss cheese. Yes, this is it's a Swiss sliced cheese. The recipe calls for Gruyere. Link down below. But when I made this earlier this year, I subbed Swiss out for it, and it turned out fairly well. Looks good, more cheese. Oh man, I like you, Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock, you've got the right idea. You understand what's important in the world. You truly understand what's important in the world, and that is more cheese and more beer. Okay, let's get my stirry. Ooh, light mode. Give that a nice little stir. And then that's just going to rest in there for a little while. So, once the butter's melted, we can focus on adding some flour. Also, the garden yap's not going to get started until after we've made the beer cheese. So, for those who really are into the garden yap session of add more cheese. I don't know. This looks like a lot of cheese, ma'am. I think this is... Technically, this is... Because I've got 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, and then I also have 4 ounces of the Swiss. So we've got a fair amount of cheese going on here. But I cannot get into that. Well, I can't get into the garden portion of today, but... And... There we go. But... I can't talk about this. So, yesterday, I went with a big pot of melted cheese. Yes! Oh, a big pot of melted cheese that we're going to add beer to. But yeah. And also welcome in Brownie Ricotta. But yeah, I yesterday picked up all this stuff you see behind me. This stuff you see behind me is metal. This is metal for my forge project, which is probably going to be the first project of 2026. Because, well, 2025 is ending now. Ooh, that butter's melting. Butter's almost done. Please stop smoking at my face, fire. But yeah, I am super excited to get the forge project because normally I feel like I kind of struggle for like stream ideas sometimes, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where it's like, goodness gracious, one idea is leading into another idea that leads into another idea. Also, this I do love some pizza mozzarella cheese. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. But yeah, so the metal shop where I bought this metal at, so right behind my head here is a piece of what's called diamond plate because of the diamond patterns. making a forge gas like coal or coke. I'm making propane gas. I'm gonna be making a gas forge. It's gonna be based off the introductory forge that Essential Craftsman shared, because it's small and portable and light. Because my shop is still very much focused on wood working. That's still where I want to put the majority of my attention at. But I do like the idea of blacksmithing some of my own woodworking tools. But yeah, this diamond plate you see behind my head, it was supposed to be 1 foot by 2 foot. It's 1 foot, and you can see it's clearly not 2 feet. Yeah, the reason why it's not 2 feet is because it's 42, because someone at the metal shop was having a dyslexic day. Which is fair, because I have a lot of dyslexic days. But, because the way the pickup works, you basically you go in, you place your order, and then you like go around to the other side of the building, and then you open up your trunk, and they just drop the material in your like truck bed, or your like, in my case, the trunk of my Toyota Corolla. I get home, and then I see this big sheet of diamond plate, and I'm like, I didn't order this much. What's going on? And I measure it, and I'm like, do you have an angle grinder? Yeah, I got an angle grinder. I have not. It's been a while. I haven't really used it yet. I'm definitely new to angle grinding, but I will be using that to cut it down. And I do have a face shield for safety purposes. Very important stuff. Safety is very important. I take safety very important around here. Okay, so my butter's melted. Actually, wait a second. I should do a very big review. Mix. About that. There should be no dry pockets while whisking constantly. Pour in 1 12-ounce beer, milk, simmer over regular heat, mixing often. Okay. So, it looks like. Did you end up paying extra for it? No, I paid for a 1 foot by 2 foot piece, and I ended up getting over a 3 foot plus. Pro tip, don't take off the safety guard. Angle grinders love thumbs. Ooh, they love thumbs. And I have 2 of those. Okay. Come here. So. Actually, I'm gonna... Nah. I want to make my life simple. I like the simple life, man. I once had to use carbide bits to get a lot at the recycling place for carbide. Yeah. Carbide is very powerful stuff. So I'm just going to take my melted butter here and be adding it to my pan. And I'm just going to like sit here with my hand for a second while I get a good consistent drip of butter. And then now that I have butter, let's get the magic Wait. Oh, that's funny. I left a tablespoon measure in there. That's real funny. Okay, first tablespoon. Then second tablespoon. And then third tablespoon. Which flour is used as a thickening agent, by the way. So that's those. This flour taken care of. Let's see. Ingredient-wise, what do I want? Honestly, I want to go ahead and hit it with my whole milk now. It is really important that I hit this with my whole milk right now. Because I have... Is that real butter? Salted or unsalted? Recipe calls for unsalted. I'm using salted because that's just generally what I buy. Also, I'm going to be a little bit generous with my milk because I can only buy milk this is the smallest serving of milk I can buy, and I don't like drinking milk. So, I'm going to be using up this entire container of milk. So, that entire container of milk goes in there. That container goes there. Actually, that's the way to get a hair bit more butter on my butter package. Give this a nice little bit of a stir. Incorporate all that milk, flour, and butter together. Also, mostly trying to get those crumbly bits out. It seems reasonably good. Now, what about you put on your cereal? 1, I don't eat cereal. 2, if I eat cereal, I eat it dry because I'm a monster. I hate to break it to you, Mr. Spock, but your man Sugi is a monster. Wait, do I need half teaspoon or half tablespoon for this? Half teaspoon. Okay, half teaspoon. I can do half tea. Yeah, people like margarine more than butter when it comes to flavor. Oh wait. That's 1 tea. I need half tea. Sometimes you just crave the crunch, bro. Honestly, my thing is, I admittedly have grown up without adding milk to my cereal. That's just like how I've traditionally consumed it. Also, I'm going to be a little extra bit of the onion powder there, and then we move on to garlic powder from Costco. I went to Costco yesterday. Part of the reason why yesterday was a really good day. I love Costco. Costco makes me happy. Costco makes me happy. It is a good place to go. And we'll just be a little bit extra with the garlic because, well, garlic's amazing. If you don't agree with that opinion, we can have a fight about it. I will happily fight about that. Okay, so let's go back to my flour. Check. Garlic powder. Check. That. Yes. Should be no dry pockets left. Okay, cool. So we can mix everything up now. Good. I live next to a Sam's Club, and it's great for shopping for big chunks of meat. Yeah. I mean, that's generally how like warehouse stores are. It's like they're usually good for like bulk stuff. But I feel like Costco is just Costco. Admittedly, I think Costco is like the closest thing we're gonna get to perfect capitalism. And that's because the Costco's profit margin is their membership. The membership fee that you pay. So Costco's incentive is to keep you renewing your membership, and they have to keep providing value for you to continue to like renew your membership. And if they don't do it, then you're not going to renew your membership. And so they're very heavily incentive for you to keep the membership and to create value for the membership, while also, because the profit margin is the membership, they don't have to make profit on the products they sell. And it's hard to get, I think it's really hard to like really nail. It's hard to nail either capitalism or socialism really well, but I think Costco strikes a nice balance. If it was 5 minutes away from my house, I'd go to Costco, but the location's just, yeah. I mean, admittedly, my Costco is like 20 minutes away. So, it's definitely a little bit on the far side. Which is why I generally only go once a month. But I go once a month, I buy my various like bulk things I buy, and it's also, Costco is also good for appliances. So I was looking for a new clothes washer a few years ago, and I was comparing the price from Costco versus other places. Costco's price was basically close to same versus like the Home Depot or the Lowe's or various other places you buy appliances from. But the Costco difference was a 2-year warranty on the dishwasher versus a 1-year. And if the price is the same, it's just better to get the 2-year warranty. So I got the So I bought my appliance. So I bought my clothes washer from the Costco and got a nice warranty out of it. Which it's been so long ago that that warranty has since expired, but that was still a really good warranty for the time. So here is some of my pale ale that I made on the channel. It was not my most recent beer. I think it was the second most recent beer I made on the channel. But yeah, this is a pale ale I made with homegrown hops, and this is going to be the beer for the beer cheese. Yeah, safety of a 2 year is very comfortable because pretty much with a 2-year warranty, you're basically like, you're not going to get food barred by a manufacturer's defect at that point. My fridge and see, that's the thing. Mr. Spock, your fridge and freezer are 30 years old and will never die. Modern appliances are guaranteed to die. Granted, the reason why my old clothes washer died is the bearings crapped out on the motor. The thing is that washer sounded like it was in pain. Like it was like when that clothes washer worked for at least a solid year, being like, my existence is paying for like a year before I was finally like, okay, buddy, thank you for your service. You're done now. Like, both my fridges are fairly old, and they'll probably like remain that way. I don't foresee that really changing. Let's see, whisk constantly. Yep, bring to a simmer over medium heat. Okay, so we'll up the heat a little bit. We'll put it a little bit closer to the fire. Bring to a simmer. Whisk often, 2 to 3 minutes. Continue to cook. Thicken enough to cook the back of the spoon. 5 minutes. And then we get to add the wonderful cheese. Ah, yes, cheese. Okay, so we just want to get a good simmer out of this bad boy right now. Now, it's definitely getting still a little bit chilly. I have plenty of firewood. We're gonna definitely add to it because I want to, and also because we're getting close to being an hour in, and I still don't even have beer cheese yet. I have to heat this up. So let's grab our fire hook, get a little bit more fire going. There we go. Oh, holy smokes! Look at all this wood. This is a lot of wood. And oh, there we go. Wow. Usually it's a plastic gear that wears out on a washer. If you look underneath, you can usually see some ground plastic. Well, I pretty much know for a fact that what killed my washer was the just bearings getting destroyed by age. So it was kind of like, okay, it's time, buddy. It's time. It's fine. It's fine. It's time. But honestly, pretty normal stuff to have happen. Okay. I think this guy is gonna really be heating up. Gonna be ready for, well, it's gonna be ready for the cheese eventually, shortly. But yeah. Oh man. I'm really feeling the heat off that fire now. pull you back a little bit, get you a little bit off the heat. Because it's always, I know I've said this a couple of times before, but you always want to keep your heat. You want to have like hot areas, which is basically back into the side here. And then you also want to have slightly cooler areas, which is like closer to me up here. Especially when you're cooking at a campfire like this, guys. When you're cooking at a campfire, heat control is everything. Heat control is everything, because otherwise you end up burning stuff. Which, I've done that. Typically it's when I use the Dutch oven, which I'm probably going to be using the Dutch oven. I'm not sure how I wish to use it, because I didn't grab my shovel for today, so normally I would have my Dutch oven over here. I'll put some coals on the pot, put some coals on the concrete, place my Dutch oven, and then have some coals on the top. I might just run the Dutch oven up here, and then just use the radiant heat of the fire to cook my tater tots. Is the route I'm currently thinking of going. Okay, got a little aggressive with my steering. There we go. Now I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's sticking to the back of my spoon just yet. Shucks, I'm still drinking my beer, man. Can't believe I'm still drinking my beer. Also, do wish to apologize. I saw the notification earlier for the new subscriber, but I forgot that I had my thing covered. Actually, wait a second. Ah, okay. So that was... He wasn't too far back. Ito Oni, okay. Ito Oni, thank you for subscribing. Thank you very much. But yeah, we do casual cooking streams like today. We also spend time around power tools, and then occasionally I also do a little bit of and then occasionally I do a little bit of video gaming. But that's more occasional, because the main focus of my channel is to make stuff that I also wish to enjoy. And while VTubing is a very cool medium, I actually think VTubing is really cool, and I think there's definitely a lot more people out there that are better at this and cooler at it than me. But I'm just trying to, do my own thing with it. Make that which I also wish to watch. Sort of deal. Wait, that's under there. There we go. Let's see, can I get that piece of wood to go that way? Yeah, there we go. So that gets me a little bit more distance between. So, I've got a little bit more distance between this piece of wood and my pot. So, my pot has a lot of radiant heat being thrown at it, but not a lot of actual, direct heat underneath of it. Because underneath of it, I'm gonna grab my fire poker, which this was actually an upgrade from this year. As you can see, there's not really a lot of fire happening directly underneath of it. So that helps. So it helps heat the sides and not throw too much heat directly at this stuff, because this stuff is very heat sensitive. But yeah, I gotta say, 2025 was definitely a really good year for the channel. Like, shucks. The VTuber channel introduction was easily the best thing I've ever done for this channel, which, funny enough, I did that because another VTuber was doing like, hey, I want to feature other VTubers on stream and such. I made that for that, and then just posted it to the channel and just made it public, just because, like, hey, I made this thing, let's make it public. Well, that thing never ended up happening, which is fine. But that video has brought so many people here. And I really want to say thank you for that. Like, truly, I wish to say thank you for that. Because, shucks, the first half of the first bit of this year was a little rough, man. Like, my primary metric of success for myself is I wish to make more hours of entertainment than I spend in making the entertainment. And for a long while, I was very much failing that metric. But I have now since kind of crossed the boundary line to where I'm actually falling into the success portion of that metric. And to everyone who is watching now, I really wish to mean this, like seriously, thank you. I know I'm quite atypical in the VTuber community, and I also know that I am very much, I'm not the most involved in the VTuber community. There's not really a whole lot of streamers I interact with. There are some, but yeah, it's been a really good year. I mean, I was, honestly, when the Nando reached out to me and asked me to be a guest on one of his streams, that was like a huge moment for me, because that was like the first time like someone hit me up and was like, hey man, do you want to do a collab? And I was just like, oh, okay. I don't really consider myself like the best collab material, but like sincerely, thank you. And I had a really fun collab with the Nando and Zerzon. We played Go, which coincidentally, by the way, spoilers for those who are watching right now, the first stream of next year is going to be me playing Go, which, even funnier, is, so Go on this channel is going to be a Tuesday night thing. Now, I would immensely love to be able to say second Tuesday, fourth Tuesday of every month, that's when I'm playing Go. I cannot commit to that because of my company's on-call rotation, which right now is, I'm on a 3-week rotation that has been interrupted because one of my coworkers and me swapped weeks. Originally, I was supposed to be on call during the Christmas week, and we swapped weeks. So I got the week before Christmas, and then he got Christmas week. Granted, he just wanted a Christmas week, which I'm just like, which I was fine with. It actually worked out for me because Christmas weekend I did family visiting. So, but that's also kind of like thrown off my schedule a little bit as far as like when I am or am not on call. And that's also just what makes it really hard for me to commit to that type of schedule, even though that's the type of schedule I would prefer to commit to. So, I feel like we're getting pretty thick here. I'm not sure because I gotta yep. Whisking between each addition until cheese is fully melted before adding more. Serve immediately. Ah, okay. So I have a bit of a time challenge. So I'm gonna. Ooh. Yep, that's how it be, chat. Don't be touching hot metal. Don't be touching the hot metal. So, without protection, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do that. And then we're gonna bring this grill grate. Can I bring this grill grate over? Yeah, like that, like that, like that. Yeah. So as you can see, we're definitely really dropping the heat. We have a large area here of no heat. So this is the part where we get to start adding our cheese and stir aggressively. So take that. Take that cheese, man. Take all that cheese. Granted, also at this point I have to add some kosher salt at some point. But for now, we stir. I did sliced cheese versus grating it, so it's probably going to take a while to melt, is my expectation. But that's fine, that's fine. We have a nice warm steam. It's slowly cooking, slowly doing its thing. Let me grab. So, I hated me some of that good old kosher salt. Let's see here. Actually, wait a second. Is it a half teaspoon or a full teaspoon? Recipe. Half teaspoon. Okay, so half teaspoon. A half teaspoon of the kosher salt. So there's my half teaspoon. Just sprinkle that in there. Now, all I have left is to keep adding cheese. Sweet, sweet, glorious cheese. But I have to make sure cheese I've added has melted before I add more. So, I see I have some chunks still. But as we can see, the color is starting to go from a more white to a more cream color, which is a really good sign that we're actually getting a pretty good incorporating of cheese. Probably going to have to be doing a lot of stirring at this point, but that's fine. This is more than fine because we're doing this for the very delicious reasons. Then I'll just leave that on my cheese in there. And then keep working on this beer. Don't have much left. Because, well, I will say, once the beer cheese is done, I'm probably gonna have to bathroom break because I've been drinking the Brewskis. I have also been drinking aguas. Always drink your aguas with your Brewskis because take care of yourselves, man. Like, it's very important to take care of yourselves. But that also means you're putting your kidneys through hell. But you know what? I say, worth it. Certainly worth it. Sure. Let's give this another stir, see where we're at. I'm not seeing any chunks of cheese. So since I don't have any chunks of cheese in there, we'll go ahead and add 2 slices of the Swiss and a nice little good handful cheddar. And just keep adding cheese, man. Just keep adding cheese. Because as we add cheese and stir, it's going to actually thicken up. It's going to thicken up quite nicely, I imagine. Sure. I've made this before. Okay, so. Oh no, I'm out of the beer. I should fix that. So. Let's go with some good old Kirtland Lager. Something nice, light. Not going to be like too heavy on me as we get into tonight. Oop, 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 oop. I did not mean for that to happen. Don't want to burn it. Do I just burn it? Do I just write it off as a whoops? We'll write it off as a whoops over there. Did not mean for that. I did not mean to burn the beer can. I did not want to do it because I don't want to deal with the smells of burnt beer can. I was meaning to throw it because I have, as you can kind of see the bottom of my tray, my utility cart. I was meaning to throw it into the utility cart so that way it would not be in my way. Ooh, that's thickening. That's thickening. Aggressive stirring. Wow, man, that's looking wonderful. There we go. So we'll just flip it 360. Well, not 360, but 180 to put what was hot towards the cool side and what was cool towards the hot side. So, oh, that was a boom. That was certainly a boom. Cool. Bring. And then we get to incorporate all that. And I gotta say, probably by the time the beer cheese is done, I will have to do a bathroom break because holy moly, my bladder is. I'm not there yet. I'm not at critical, but I'm getting close. Granted, the further I push it along, the further I can get through tonight's stream. Which also, by the way, in case anyone was wondering, I am not staying up to midnight. I am too old for that. Because right now it's 7:18 p.m. my time zone. I'm not staying up till midnight. Also, today's my birthday, so I don't want to stay up and watch people count down to the end of my birthday. Ooh. Big diesel truck. Now, granted, when I do run and go grab when I go go to use the little homesteader's room, I can actually use that as a really good opportunity to grab a shovel. Because even if I do cook the tater tots on top, I will want to throw some coals on top of the Dutch oven just to cook both sides of the tots and to get a more thorough cook. Now, I wish I could figure out some better way to preheat. And also, that can be in there bothers me. It bothers me. I don't. Oh, there we go. Hot diggity dog, look at that. It's out of there. Ooh, that's a hard reach. It was a hard reach, but it was accomplishable. And now we stirred the beer cheese. Delicious. Delicious, delicious beer cheese. Granted, it's actually pretty watery. I was kind of hoping to have a thicker consistency after I had everything like combined, but definitely needs work. Definitely needs cooking time, which is fine. Because I'll probably throw a little bit into this magic container. And then what I'll probably do is once I do that, I'll take this pot, set it here, move my gill grate a bit further out, just off to the edge, and then I can reset it on the grill, the grate. It's just I don't want to bring the grate close to the edge with it on it, because then there's a very real chance of me losing my beer cheese, and I don't want to do that. There's a reasonable bit of money. I reckon there's at least 20 buckaroonies tied up in that pot right now. 20 whole buckaroonies. I don't want to waste 20 buckaroonies, especially considering they're 20 delicious buckaroonies. Like, really good stuff. This is good stuff. There's a reason why every year I make, well, this is year 2 of 2, but every end of year stream is focused on the recipe I enjoyed the most over the campfire. Okay. I'm going to give this a really good stir. And then once I'm done with my stir, I'm going to throw the BRB screen on, and I'm going to use the little homesteader's room because my bladder's needs starting to reach critical. So, I hope you enjoy yourself a little bit of the alcohol or whatever enjoyable substance that you choose to enjoy. As for me, I have to deal with the consequences of my decisions. See you here in the few. And we're back at it again. So, thank you for bearing with me while I take care of my little homesteader obligations. Give this a nice, very generous amount of stirring. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Campfire smoke. Aggressive. Don't like aggressive campfire smoke. Okay. So. Beer cheese. Well, actually, wait a second. Let's just double check the recipe. Use heat. Yep. Serve immediately. Okay, well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the point of serve immediately. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just... Some of the stuff is going to remain in the dish. Other, I'm going to just be scooping out a section for me, myself, and I to enjoy. Let's see. Get ourselves a nice good little bit of beer cheese here. And then once we get the beer cheese, a little reasonable like serving of beer cheese, we're gonna I told you guys. There's gonna be gunfire tonight. There's gonna be gunfire tonight. And not like pea shooter gunfire, like full freedom. Oh hell yeah, gunfire. Okay, and let's do that. Get one more. Yeah, we're there's. Oh my goodness gracious! There, so much freedom. So much freedom's happening right now, and the freedom, and the thing is, the freedom's going to intensify as the night goes on. So, I've got my beer cheese off where it is threatened. I'm going to position. What do I want to? How do I want to do this? I can tie that in. I don't need a lot of room there. I've got good access to coals. What do I want to do? How do I want to do this? Because I want to, when I grab my coals, I want to put them on top of my Dutch oven. I want to put them on top, but I also want to make sure I put my Dutch oven. I want to have coals on top of the Dutch oven, but I also want to have my Dutch oven on top of my fire. For reasons. So. Oh my gosh. Yep. Don't do that, buddies. Don't do that, buddies. Okay. Hello, Dutch oven. You heavy son of something. So we'll hit it with a good little bit of the Kirkland extra virgin olive oil. Get a nice even coating of oil because I just don't want the pots to stick. There we go. And then I think how much? One layer of tots. One layer of tots. That's a layer of tots. That's a layer of tots right there. There we go. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's a freedom ring. Cool. So, I got my tots. Got my tots here. I know what I need to do. It's just going to be a little... It's going to be a little bit not fun for you guys. So, step 1. I'm going to do that. Step 2. I'm going to take that and set it there. Step 3. I walk away. Kind of. Wow! Fire! Cornucopia smells of fire. Brought to you by Freedomlandia. Wow! Oh gosh. And a little bit more freedom added. There we go. We have a really solid layer of coals. There we go. 1. Ooh. They just keep popping. Okay. So they just... But yeah. Welcome to the time of year at my location on the rotation that is just cornucopious amounts of gunfire. Cornucopious amounts of gunfire. Lots of freedoms being had right now. And it's just how it is. So, we got our tots cooking. Hell yeah. I'm really looking forward to those. Might actually want to just turn down the heat a little bit on those guys, because a fair amount of heat is good, too much is not good. Okay. Wait. Hell yeah, you can be my savior. Maybe. Kind of. Sort of. Partially. Something. Abacus. Please put my pretzels, man. So, we dip our pretzel in our beer cheese, and there we go. That is a pretzel and beer cheese right there. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Oh, that is truly incredible. Like, I like this beer cheese. It's good beer cheese. But wowee. That's good stuff. Now, I will say, I could probably improve upon this if I were to add a little bit of spiciness to it. Like cayenne pepper and beer cheese goes really hard. Goes really hard. But right now, this is absolutely amazing. My gosh. Like, I gotta say, like, the cheddar cheese plus the Swiss cheese, flavor-wise, they blend together so well. I think that's one of the things that makes beer cheese really amazing, is when you use multiple cheeses, the flavors just blend so well together. My gosh. That just tastes amazing. But yeah. This is going to be how things are going to be for a little bit of a time. Oh, wow. What was that? That was... But yeah, gunshots will get more frequent throughout the stream. Main thing I wish I could do is make this a little bit thicker. So, I'm going to return this to the fire pit under a low heat. Then I'm going to give somewhat frequent stirrings to, just for the express purpose of getting a little bit, making it a little bit thicker. Because it's really good right now. Woo! Hot. Oh. Oh my gosh, the people are being this active. It's not even 8 p.m. yet. Oh my gosh. Woohoo! Yep, that's right, Fire. You tell them. You tell these people how it is. Okay. Oh, man. So, we're gonna do... I forgot I haven't had breakfast. Oh, Vicky, you should probably do something about that. But I don't know how to be about this, but like, hey, like, food's good. Food's good. This is good food, man. My gosh, the saltiness of the pretzels, the crunchiness of the pretzels, with the deep, rich umami of the beer cheese. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible combination. I'm exceedingly happy with tonight. I don't even have my tots yet. Tots are going to make this a lot better, I guarantee that. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna get myself another serving of pretzels. And now we can start to get into the main goal, the main thing of tonight. And that's garden review. Oh. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Let us begin. Oh, wait, that shrunk. But yeah. So, in the year 2025, this is how my garden began. We had ourselves some Helshinko onions, some prize head lettuce, and I think behind them were some brassicas. But yeah, this is generally speaking how the gardening season begins. It's seeds that are getting started in a tray. Now moving forward from there is further growth and development. So here we can kind of see the broccoli. There's some kale there. Yeah, broccoli, kale. Basically, once again, lots of brassicas. Oh yeah. Going into this new year, one of my raised beds was just wretchedly out of level. So I grabbed some cinder blocks, I grabbed some tools, and I got to work on. Essentially, what I've been doing is what I did here is I raised one corner / side, raised it up. As you can see, I kind of mangled the metal on it, then set some cinder blocks, and then just like did everything else. Do you buy seed packets from store or from online growers? I've been seeing a lot of like fake sellers on eBay lately. I traditionally I mostly buy my seed online. There's an organization called the Seed Savers Exchange, and they're a group based out of Iowa, and their main focus is preserving a lot of historic seed varieties, and I've mostly been buying a lot of my seed from them. And for reasons I don't quite fully understand, they also get a fair number of Japanese varieties of various vegetables and other such things, which me, as a weeb and a gardener, am like, wait, from Japan? Gardening? I must grow this plant. So I've grown. My favorite, absolutely, they have a variety of sunflower called Taiyo. And if you know any amount of Japanese whatsoever, you know that Taiyo means sun. So it's sunflower. But it just sounds cooler. And then also the Helshinko onions. Those are really good performing onions. I actually really like them as a green onion type crop. And then there's also the shishito peppers. They are generally a sweet pepper with occasionally like hot ones. Really good stuff. I really like I really like a lot of the stuff from Seed Savers Exchange, and that's generally where I buy my seed from. One of my activities today before stream was going through their 2025 seed catalog, looking at the various things they had available and to offer, and also looking through my seed stockpile, which right now it's looking like I really don't need to order a whole lot of seed going into 2025. I know last year I was really lacking in seed, but it seems like I have a pretty good abundance of seed this year, and I don't have to worry about it too much. But that's going into 2025. Ooh, nice. So, here we kind of see my seed starting setup a little bit further into the growing season. Starting season. Back row, your left, is broccoli. And then on the other side of the broccoli is kale. And then going into the next seed tray, I think that's lettuce. I think that's my Yugoslavian red butterhead lettuce right there, followed up by my onions. So, in about probably 2 weeks is when I'll be planting all this stuff out. Well, or at least like, yeah, I think it's the Yugoslavian red lettuce, which coincidentally, this year is my first year running my cold frame. So I actually, today, at the end of the year in 2025, I still have lettuce growing in my garden. Granted, I also still have tomatoes, but the tomatoes are my garage tomatoes, and the garage tomatoes are looking really rough right now. The garage tomatoes are looking very rough right now. I'm gonna get... Ooh! Oh yeah, and speaking of cold frame, there it is. There it is. So, this is the cold frame I built earlier this year. Let me throw some wood at my fire. Tomatoes are almost invincible. I've cut our bush back every year, but they keep on spreading. Ah, very nice, very nice. We get pretty solid freezes where I'm at, so my tomatoes pretty much die every year. It's just with the tomatoes in my garage, for some reason they get these like aphid critters on them, and because they get those critters on them, they seem to suck a lot of the life out of my tomatoes. So my tomatoes are basically right now dying a slow death. Like, they're still hanging in there, but they're still dying a slow death. Let's give that beer cheese a bit of a stir. But yeah, this is my cold frame. A cold frame is basically a wooden box with a top clear see-through thing. I went with glass. That was a mistake. The build plans called for acrylic, and I did not want to pay for acrylic because acrylic was twice the cost of glass, but would have probably been the quarter of the weight. Like, the lid for this grow box, for this cold frame, is immensely heavy. It is tremendously heavy. And you can't really like tell, but granted, it actually looks really amazing after I first made it. But this thing was definitely a project. Definitely one of the larger projects I've made. But I'm still happy with it. I actually have it deployed in. So funny enough, here you see it in my raised bed sequence. It's in my first of 3. It's currently deployed in the second raised bed. So it's not in the raised bed you see it in this photo. Right now it's in the raised bed further back. 8 mil of plastic would have worked. Last about 3 to 4 years. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Spock, you're on one hand, you're correct. On the other hand, that's also how millennials like myself get more microplastics in ourselves. And we're also kind of concerned about the level of microplastics in ourselves. Honestly, I wish I spent the money and went with acrylic, because it would have been a lot lighter. Other than that, glass is perfectly fine if you build a small enough thing. If you're building something smaller, honestly, I recommend glass. Glass is cheap. Glass is very cheap. It's just, I used 3 2 by 3 foot sections of glass. So I used, let's see, 2 by 3 6. Yeah, so I used like 18 square feet of glass. I think you're too late with the microplastic thing, Mr. Spock. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct. Just because you hit the nail on the head doesn't mean I can allow you to be right, man. Like, yes, I'm probably late to that. But damn it, a guy can dream, right? I like to believe I can dream. I'm gonna dream. I'm gonna dream of beer cheese tonight. Gosh, this stuff is amazing. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, so. We're out of beer. We're gonna fix that. So. Next beer for tonight is going to be Wade Boggs Style. This is a 6.2 ABV, 20 IBU Oktoberfest from Mirror Twin Brewing. This is actually a microbrewery, somewhat located close to me. They're Lexington, Kentucky. I'm a Louisville, Kentucky guy, but Lexington people be good people, which coincidentally is where I'm going to be this weekend. Which is why tonight's going to be the last stream of this week period. And there we go. There we go. Look at that beer, man. Look at that beer. Doesn't that look like some delicious beer? That is some delicious looking beer. That looks like some happy beer right there. Ah. Remember a line in the Graduate movie, character says to young Dustin Hoffman, invest in plastic, it's the future. I wonder how much it costs to get that line added to the movie. It probably cost a fair amount. So fun fact. The whole recycling movement was actually a big investment by Big Plastic back in yonder days. To get consumers to because they wanted to get consumers to go from being, oh, this is an industry problem, to it being an individual problem. Now granted, funny enough, the Keep America Beautiful ad campaign, which one of the more famous ads from that ad campaign was the Native American who looks into the camera and then has a singular tear shedding from his eye. That was actually an ad campaign by manufacturers of various disposables for the fast food industry to kind of be like, hey, the problem of this pollution does not lie with the makers of the product, it lies with the end users of the product, i.e. kicking that problem to the people. I'm sure you smart people can figure out all sorts of ways. He was not a Native American in the commercial. Well, he was portraying a Native American, but he wasn't actually Native American. The actor, he was just an actor. Yeah. I don't know what he was like actually, but the simple fact of the matter is that was an ad campaign meant to make people feel like, oh no, pollution, this is bad. We should do something about it. Yeah. I think you're right, Mr. Spock. But that was a thing to shift the focus from pollution, from being a consumer problem, to make it from a producer of the product problem to the consumer. Like, the consumer, you are wrong for not properly disposing of your product. It's not the producer of the product who first releases it out into the world. That was actually the main focus of those ad campaigns, which nowadays that takes the form of your carbon footprint. It's your problem why climate change is the problem. It's your fault that these environmental things are happening. And it's like, buddy, no, it's you guys kind of originated this problem and then kicked the can to us consumers. And that's kind of just how that goes. That's how these industries just work. But hey, I don't have to worry about solving the world's problems. I'm a VTuber, man. I have no problem pointing a problem out. I have no problem pointing a path forward. Insofar long as I'm not ultimately responsible for being the person who's supposed to be like, hey guys, this is the solution. No, this is not me. I haven't done a deep enough level of research into a lot of this. Like, this is a lot of stuff that I have some background on, but not a lot. So honestly, take anything I say with a grain of salt. Like, I'm fine with that. Okay, now let's look at more like garden pictures. So going from the cold frame, we move into yeah, Broadway, let's freaking go. The key is to simplify things. Oh my gosh. Mr. Spock, on some ways you're right, but also in other ways, complex geopolitical problems is all about not being simple. But yeah, Gradoste. Thank you for a woo all the birthday streams. Granted, I don't actually know if there's any other like people having birthday streams. Oh, okay, those are just pops, just little guns. Yeah, that's just little guns with some fireworks. But yeah, I gotta say, I home runned it, knocked it out of the park with broccoli this year. Like, I got really healthy plants, got really good starts, got them in the ground. They did fairly well. Did good on broccoli. Broccoli. Sorry about that. Broccoli was definitely a success. You must have read some Marslow. I actually don't recognize the author Marslow. Maybe? Wait. Give me a moment. Wait. Marslow. Wait, are you talking about that Marslow? Okay. If it's the Marslow who did the Heredity of Needs, I very much ascribe to his philosophy on Abraham Marslow. Ooh, wait. Oh, darn it. Mr. Spock just dropped a full name on me. And I gotta own up to this. Let's see. Let's inscribe this into my search history. Abraham M. Yes, I'm not. I'm sorry, internet. I'm not looking up Abraham Lincoln. Looking up Abraham Marslow. Per Mr. Spock. And for some reason, my internet wants to be slow with that search. Not sure why. Seems awfully suspicious of you, Mr. Internet. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, look at this feller. I like the look of this feller. Oh, wow, he only lived like 62 years. Oh, okay. So he is the Marslow behind the Heredity of Needs. Okay, yeah. I'm at least I am familiar with the Heredity of Needs, and honestly, I do think the Heredity of Needs is actually a really good concept as far as like evaluating where you're at and how to value your happiness where you're at. It's a really good tool. It's not the end-all be-all, but it is a tool in the toolbox. Definitely. God, I love beer cheese. God, life's good. Okay. Oh! But yeah, here you can see my garden in the state. That's far better than the state it's in now. The state it's in now does not look anywhere near this good. Does not look anywhere near this good. But yeah, this is with my broccoli and my. Okay. If you look at the majority of people, their bottom tier needs aren't met. Oh, Mr. Spock, we should. Oh boy. Gosh, who is that? Oh, you're okay. So that chat just now reminds me of a philosopher, and that philosopher's name is Peter Stinger. And Peter Stinger is a very controversial philosopher, primarily because oh gosh, Peter Singer, like I'm undereducated to really unpack him as a philosopher. But for those who don't know, with people losing their jobs through AI, society needs a shift in thinking. I think society definitely needs a shift in how society takes care of itself, because the primary value added chain throughout the better part of human history has always been rooted in humans providing value, taxing that, and then that's the substance for the government to function. But as the value added to society becomes more AI, unfortunately, I'm not necessarily a big fan of AI, but as AI becomes a bigger feature of the economic landscape, it's definitely we as human beings need to be like, hey AI, you wouldn't exist without us. You need to pay rent, buddy. And that's kind of where I'm at as far as AI in a governmental societal triangle. Basically, you got AI at one point, government at another, and then the basic needs of society. On some hands, AI does a lot for some human beings in society. Me, not so much. But AI needs to play a role in funding the government just like the people do. So AI needs to send a line towards the government point of the triangle, just as the people put a line, i.e. tax revenue, towards the government in the triangle. It is a part of the triangle. That's how they built those ancient South American pyramids. People worked off their religious tax building them. Yeah, well, that's how people took care of their religious tax as individuals to the government. Now we need to get the AI to pay it needs to pay a tax to the rest of society that it exists in, because AI imposes a lot of burdens upon society, like power consumption for one. Power consumption, resource consumption. Damn it, AI! How dare you do this to the price of our RAM and GPUs? If you're going to be hurting us, you need to also be providing us with some value outside your economic utility, because not all economic utility is created equal unless it's cash or some other denotion of value that can be freely interchanged in the modern economy. Which, okay, let's talk more about gardening. Oh, so this is my cabbage. This is my red kibolos. But yeah, here's a photo. Yeah, that's a photo of my cabbage. More cabbages! And then here's kind of a big zoom out of the garden. Early spring this year. This is kind of what my garden looked like. Lots of cabbage, lots of broccoli, lots of brassicas, as everything is just really slowly growing out. Moving forward. So, in this picture, I think this is when I planted one of my raised bed. I think this is when I planted my root crop raised bed with the root crops. which is the reason why it's so hard to see everything, because it's all like onions for the most part at this point. Yeah, here's a close-up. Look at them! Look at them! Do you know what these tiny little baby guys are? These tiny little baby guys are little radishes. That's what they are. These are little baby radishes poking themselves out of my wood chips, getting ready to grow and become the best radish plant they can be. Okay. You know them. You love them. Their name is Poinsettia. But yeah, this is the poinsettia I got from... I bought some trees from the Arbor Day Foundation. And as part of my purchase of trees, they gave me this free poinsettia bush. Here's that bush. Many years later, happily doing its thing. Happily being planted. But yeah, poinsettia is actually one of the first things that blooms in eastern North America. So this is like really early spring. Really early spring blooms. So let's see here. So this is... I actually don't know what I have planted here, because the main bed that you see here, this is my that was my this was my salsa garden bed, but I don't think I did my salsa garden crops just yet. I think this was a lot of lettuce and radishes at this point, something along those lines. Because we're still like, because this is like very, very early spring gardening season. Yeah, look at it. Look at all of it. Okay, so like off to the far left of the screen, those are my cabbages. Then closer towards me behind the VTuber model, those are my brassicas. And then further up ahead, past where my hair is, those are more cabbages. And then if you see the 3 posts, like towards the end of the wood chip area, those 3 posts are those are where I was growing peas in ground this year. That was where I located my pea garden. Okay. I need to check on this. So. Okay. So let's turn it. Okay, tater tots. How you do? Oh, look at those tots, man. Those are good tots. Look at them. Look at them. Look at those tasty, toasty boys. Those are tots. Got a manly groan. I hope that doesn't leave marks. Holy smokes, that wire handle is like Jeepers Creepers hot. That is so Jeepers Creepers hot. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's what I do to myself. Just burn myself constantly. But yeah, there we go. Tots are off. Tots are off the fire. And then I also have like the Dutch oven. Dutch oven's off the fire. Watch the handle. It's hot. Mr. Spock, I needed that information 3 minutes ago. That was 3 minutes ago. I mean, I don't think I've super hurt myself. Well, I hurt myself earlier, but that's different hurt myself. That's a different hurt myself. Okay. Let's give this a nice stir. Add this too. Add more of the legendary, amazing beer cheese to my container. Now, granted, eventually I would like to actually get the beer cheese off of here. Don't grab the handle, Sugi. Don't grab the hand. Actually, wait a second. What? There we go. There we go. So I'll set that off to the side. For the express purpose, taking more firewood and throwing it on my fire pit. Get a little bit more fire going. There we go. Now, before I enjoy delicious tots, let's hit these bad boys with some lorries. Good old seasoned salt. Lorries. Oh my gosh. I can smell the smell of the lorries just because of it hitting like the hot cast iron of the Dutch oven. So it's the Dutch oven is therefore very warm. Very, very warm, but hey, let's get ourselves a tater tot, man. Let's get ourselves a tater tot and dip it in some beer cheese. So damn good. Holy smokes, that's what happiness tastes like. So the tots are still very hot, but boy oh boy, tater tots plus beer cheese is like really next level. Really next level. Damn good stuff. Granted, still also really good with the pretzels. Yeah. But yeah, that's happiness right there. That is some ultra happiness right there. Okay. So, Mr. Spock, you enjoy your 420? I'm going to enjoy my brewskis. Now, back to the gardening. So, early spring gardening. Moving further. Oh, yeah, this project. Oh, man, this was one of my more favorite projects. So, this project here. One side of my house has a lot of water coming towards it, but there's no way for that water to get away from that side of the house. So, earlier this year, I dug a ditch. What you see here is that ditch, and you see that ditch full of water. The brown part in the middle, my mailman walks across this area yard, so I created basically a bridge in this trench with wood chips, because wood chips would still like allow water to flow through. But yeah, this is a drainage ditch I built into a side of my yard this year. This was one of my pseudo gardening side projects for this year, and I gotta say, it has actually done a really good job of keeping water away from my home. Ooh, God, nice sparky sparks there. But it did a really good job of keeping water off my home, directing it further away, all that good stuff. And it was also a project like I literally just batched out in the afternoon. But also made myself, oh yeah, let's go. So, this project. So what you're looking at is my backyard. What you're seeing right now is the view that I would see where I'm at right now. So, as you can see, I took a basketball goal. I took the basket. Ooh, dear, it burps. More. Oh, man. So, I took the basketball goal off. Took a 4x4. Ooh, nice part. Took a 4x4 beam. Bolted it to the basketball goal. Then ran runners to another beam that I then supported with additional 4x4s. And essentially I have a 3-legged stand supporting a triangular frame. No. Not triangular, rectangular. It's a rectangular frame up in the air. That frame is about 10 feet off the ground. That's the frame I built for my hops. This is what I have for my hop growing project. Which turned out really well. There's more slides on that later. Oh yeah, so so this is probably like late March, early April at my homestead. Directly behind my model, you can see some really bright green growth. That bright green growth is hops. Those are hops back there. That's the hop plants slowly coming up the trellis that I showed you like in last slide. And then like immediately behind me, like at my hair level on the model, you can see cabbage. And then above the hair is like 2 rows of broccoli. And then on the far left are peas. That's where I was growing my peas this year. And you can kind of see there's kind of a ladder pattern to the trellis. I actually got some like fence style netting stuff for the piece this year, and I gotta say I really like this product. It's definitely really good. It's really quick and easy to deploy. Now it's a little bit more expensive up front versus like some of the other trellising methods I've used, but you basically throw up like a 5-foot tall net and you're basically done with trellising your piece for the year. Really good product. I'm very happy with my experience with it. Can't recommend it enough. Oh. So, we now go back to my raised beds now. On the far left, you can see daikon radishes. The big what? Well, there's probably a mix of daikon and regular radishes in this, but that's all radishes though. It's all radish action over there. Plus, you can also see some onions poking out there. That's also happening. Now, we go back to this nearly the same view. Nearly the same view we had a couple of slides earlier. But we can see our brassicas are a lot bigger. The hops have gotten a lot taller. And also the peas are a lot more doing their thing. A lot more doing the thing. Oh my gosh, these tater tots are fire. Especially dipping them in the beer cheese. Absolutely incredible. I would like to move my tater tot pot on my cast iron skillet off my firewood. Hey now. There we go. There we go. Which, by the way, can't see, I added one more piece of firewood to my fire pit. Get the rest of my beer poured off. Enjoying plenty of tater tots, plenty of beer cheese, all sorts of good things. Okay, back to gardening. Oh yeah, peas, man, peas. Did really good in peas this year. So here's a photo of one of my pea harvests. I grow Alma snap peas. These are peas where you can eat both the pea seeds and the shell. So you can eat both. Very versatile pea. You can use it in a lot of the different dishes. Granted, you typically grow this very versatile pea, and for me, I just use it to like snack on. That's all I use it for, is snacking. It's how I primarily use this pea. Okay. So one of my literal side projects this year is this here. This is a native planting of milkweed. I don't think I did river oats. I did milkweed. I did echinacea. Basically, I did a planting of a mix of native wildflowers next to my driveway. That's what that is. One of my small experiments, which turned out okay-ishly. We'll see how well it does in the next year. And I think we're finally entering June here because watering is now becoming a thing. So these are my in-ground, well, not in-ground, these are my container potatoes. Had them growing next to my wall here. These are actually the potatoes I harvested on stream this year. So if you watch the potato harvesting stream, you'll see the results of that harvest of those crops. Ho ho ho! Merry Harvestmas and various other things. But yeah, here we see the cabbage and broccoli in full go. Full go. So towards the lower left, you can see a nice, good-sized piece of cabbage. And then further out where like the sprinkler's aimed, that is broccoli. Delicious, wonderful broccoli. so much delicious, wonderful broccoli out there. Good stuff, good stuff. And yeah. Now, also you can kind of see this green here in this in-between area. Yeah, that's the Bermuda grass slowly starting to creep in. But my goodness gracious, I did incredibly well. Absolutely incredibly well with blackberries this year. With blackberries this year, I just absolutely killed it. Just incredible amounts of blackberries this year. Best yield yet. Not entirely. Oh dear. Not entirely sure if I'll kill it next year, but we'll see how we do. But yeah, this year was really a gangbusters year for the blackberries. Ah! Now, if it sounds like I'm a degenerate, there's very good reasons for sounding like a degenerate. And that's because what you see here is gladiolas. You might be thinking, Tugi, what about gladiolas make them a degenerate plant? And it's like, okay. Gladiolas. You see the leaves? You see the leaves on those plants, man? Those leaves look awfully bit like swords, don't they? Maybe not like very straightforwardly, but maybe if you kind of look at them the right way. They look like short swords, right? Well, dear viewer, gladiolas get their name from the Gladius Hispaniensis, which is the Spanish sword of the Roman Republic. So yeah, gladiolas make me think of the Roman Empire because they're literally named after the primary sword that the Roman Empire used. So, if you like thinking of the Roman Empire, plant some gladiolas. You'll be thankful. Oh boy. So, we're halfway through our slideshow now, and we now see the grape harvest slowly come in. I gotta say, this is... Woo! That wind blowing is a little chilly. But yeah. Did pretty good in grapes this year. Still not good enough to the point to make wine out of the grapes I harvest, but as far as producing a reasonable amount of table grapes to enjoy, I actually did pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Which, when you see the grapes be a little on the green side, they're underripe, and as they become slowly more purple, then they get more ripe. So, this is grapes in the in-between ripening. Oh, yeah! Green beans, a crop I can grow successfully, but I don't get particularly excited about. I mean, sure, green beans are delicious. Green beans are yummy. It's just, generally speaking, when you're working with green beans, you have to cook them. And that kind of just makes them a little bit of a, oh, hey, you have to work with this to get anything remotely similar to a yield out of, well, to actually take your yield and turn it into a product. That's kind of made green beans something I'm not too particularly excited about, but I still grow for crop rotation purposes, and they're still a legume. so they're still very good at fixing nitrogen to the soil. Ah, black eye Susans, a very favorite wildflower of mine. I really, really would love to get a established population of these bad boys going. I would very much love to get an established population of the black-eyed Susans going. Because they do reseed themselves, but they're still an annual. So if you want to get a self-seeding population, you definitely need to like overly abundantly plant them. So just keep that in mind when you're planting black-eyed Susan. And next up we have Starhaster? No, it's either Starhaster or something similar. But yeah, this is actually a perennial. This actually comes back year after year. Really low maintenance crop. You can actually get these at the Costco. I think these actual flowers you see behind me actually came from Costco. And yeah, really easy to grow, very low fuss prairie crop flower. It's about 2 to 3 feet tall. These big flower head spikes. Bees love these things. Pretty low on maintenance. Definitely recommend them. Definitely. I think I got some ash in my eye. Okay. Ash and eye cleared. Oh yeah. Now we're basically just going all in on wildflowers at this point. So here we have a humble little bumblebee enjoying themselves some delicious milkweed, which I think I'm yapping too much. I need to dip a tater tot into my beer cheese, man. Oh, that's good stuff. Woo! But yeah, milkweed. Really good for the bees. Even better for monarchs. Really good native for Eastern North America. Definitely plant yourself. Definitely plant some if you're from this area this area of the world. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we are definitely now into, I reckon, early January at this point. So lots of green beans. We did make a green bean dough ball casserole thing on stream at one point, and the blackberry harvest is like really picking up at this point. Really picking up. Lots of blackberries, which each one of these boxes of blackberries is probably at least, maybe not exactly a pound, but pretty close to it. So really good stuff there. Really good stuff. But then blackberries go to the next level, and I get to the point where they're producing to the point where I can barely keep up, which is definitely a thing this year. This year, I picked blackberries to the point where I got tired of picking blackberries. Like, I'm not sure how many more photos I have past this, but this is what you see here is probably easily like 20 pounds of blackberries. A lot of blackberries. Oh my goodness. Oh man, this was a fun stream. This was a really fun stream. So this was my annual potato harvest stream. So you can see my shop in its full glory here. And I think this is the pre-stream setup. So this is before I went live. So this was like as I was getting ready to do the harvest and everything. I have a big tarp laid out to collect all the dirt that I'm about to spill everywhere. Got a really good harvest of potatoes. Got really happy with what I did. It was good. It was a good time. It was a good time. But also like just good to know I got a good potato harvest this year. Ooh, I think we are now looking at the potato harvest happened in July. I know it happened in July. I think it happened late July. So this is basically late summer seed starting. This should be, I think this is the late summer lettuce starts. What you're seeing here. And there it is. The 2025 grape harvest in the reel. I will say, when it comes to grapes, I deal with an immense amount, a truly immense amount of bird pressure on them. So I tend to harvest these pretty early, but as you can see, I have a lot more purple grapes than green grapes. So the grapes were definitely on the sweeter side. Gotta say, this was definitely a really good year for the grapes. I rocked it this year on the grapes. We'll see if I'll see if I can repeat the success in 2026. Hell yeah, sunflower, let's go. But yeah, this is one of my sunflowers. You can see a bee enjoying some good premium American sunflower goodness there. Really bright, clear sky, like peaks. This is basically peak summer vibes right here. That's what that is. So I use these containers to grow potatoes, and now after they were used to grow potatoes, they are now being used to grow lettuce. So what you see below the wood frame, that is the garage garden frame, and inside you pretty much see just lettuce. I mostly planted in lettuce after I did the harvest of the potatoes. Yeah, but here you see me harvesting hops. This was the first time this year that I was able to harvest my hops with a pole pruner. So you see the little blue cord there. That's a little like pull string for me that closes a pruning shear at the top. So I can just and there's a hook too. So I can just hook the trellis and then pull the blue string down, and then it clips the trellis, and I can just pull the whole bind of hops off the off the trellis and lay the hops off to the side. Made harvesting hops a lot easier. Definitely one of the bigger wins gardening wise this past year. And then here is hops being dried, going into their handy dandy little bag of goodness. That's what all that is. And here is the garage garden. You can kind of see the lettuces growing up a little bit, and you can kind of see some darker green stuff. That darker green stuff are the tomatoes that I planted that are now slowly dying. But yeah, I did get a pretty okay-ish yield out of the lettuce. And now you can see a tiger swallowtail butterfly on one of my sunflowers, which I like planting wild prairie flowers, but like I also just like supporting biodiversity. So hey, you gotta support your local biodiversity, yo. And speaking of protecting your local biodiversity, here is the bird feeder that I built. That is just absolutely doing really good things for a large number of birds right here. Really feeding a lot of birds. I'm going to feed a lot of birds in 2026. And there is the container. Containers now really full up. Really full up. As you can see, just full up to the brim of good old Yugoslavian red butterhead lettuce. Really full of lettuce. Tomatoes are really starting to come along in a big way. Getting really good yield of crops here, man. Oh, wow. Every time I try to grab one of these tots, I end up grabbing like two. Oh. Just grab another. Oh. Nah. So here is a sycamore tree that I dug up because I made a second EPA woodshed. So I had to dig this up to transplant it into another location. And here's that tree transplanted in its other location. So that way it can be the best tree it can be. But yeah, we're now actually moving into really later fall. Yeah, speaking of later fall, the big tall plants you see in the upper left, those are thyme. Directly behind my model, you can kind of see lettuce. There's some onions, and I think more lettuce, maybe? Ah, yes. And here we have the basil preservation harvest for this year. So this is me dehydrating basil crop from this year, preserving it so I can put it on pizzas and have many delicious pizzas going into 2026 while I wait for the next basil crop to grow. And there's the man, the myth, the legend, the cat that wanders my homestead. I don't know this cat's name. As you can see, it's collared. It's someone owns this cat. Someone has taken responsibility for this cat, but this cat spends a lot of time wandering around my homestead, my property, doing its best, living its best cat life. Last time I saw it was Christmas Eve, but I'm sure they're out there still living their best cat life. And here is the garage garden. In the garage, really, this is it's thriving. It's thriving, it's doing great, but it's not going to be this way forever. Oh, yeah. And this is my pepper harvest. I think this was November. I think I did my last pull of veggies pretty late this year. It was like November-ish. So that's the last pull of peppers. And there is my, how do I say this? My container, my cold frame. This is my cold frame with lettuce and radishes in it. Now the radishes are looking a little bit rough now, but the lettuce is still going fairly strong. So hopefully I can still continue to maintain a good harvest of all that stuff. And finally, this is the tomato harvest I did Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve this year, like 6 days ago ish, this is the tomato harvest I got. And with that, that's the end of the 2025 garden year review. It was a mix of successes and failures, but I am fairly okay with that. I am fairly okay with, okay, I did this thing and that thing fairly well, but some of these other things, not so much. So, I'm reasonably happy with a lot of that. So, but yeah, I would like to say thank you to. Honestly, I want to be like a lot more. Like, whoa! Oh gosh! Oh gosh, that was a lot of wind. That was a lot of wind. Holy, oh, sparks too. Okay, lots of sparks, lots of wind. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so now I want to say thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in today. Thank you very much for putting up with my yammering, my desire to consume cornucopious amounts of beer and cheese and various combinations of, and to all those who have taken a little bit of time to wish me a happy birthday, thank you very much. I gotta say, holy smokes, this has been a good birthday. This has been a good year. This has been a really good year. I started doing this VTuber shenanigans stuff June of 2024, and going from June of 2024 to the end of that year, I picked up like 20 some odd subscribers. In 2025, I have picked up 100 of you peoples, and jeepers creepers, I didn't think I would pick up this many, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm not entirely sure if I certainly have not reached my pinnacle at doing this VTuber thing, so I hope you'll stick around with me and hopefully get a chance to see that. I mean, I certainly intend to work towards that. Man, I feel like I'm trying to think of like other like thoughts, reflections for the year, because it's been 2025 has been a year of slightly more stabilization. I have worked with a singular employer for this entire year, which honestly is no different than 2024, but I'm a little bit more. I'm actually a lot more experienced in my trade. I'm a lot more settled in with my trade, so I'm not being pushed as much. I'm not, because some of the early days in my trade were being at the near limits of what I was capable of doing at the times, and now I'm definitely a lot closer to being in my comfort realm, if you will. So I gotta say, like, job life's been doing pretty alright, and being online as a VTuber has been even better. So I want to say thanks. Thank you very much. And I think with all that, I would like to say, I hope all of you have, for those who have any remaining time in 2025, I hope you have a great rest of your 2025. And for the rest of us, and such forth, I hope all the rest of us have a great rest of our 2026 moving forward. And with all that, I'd like to say, my name's Sugi Omagawa. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope all of you have a great rest of your year and an even better 2026. See you around in the next one. Bye bye.